Hi everybody, welcome to All Games New and Old. I'm David Rodriguez.
I'm Hillary Rodriguez.
And today we are going to be reviewing Disney's Lorcana. This was published in 2023 by Ravensburger and is designed by Ryan Miller and Steve Warner.
It's a 2 to 6 player game. Most games are probably going to be one-on-one, I would say, though.
Yeah, probably.
It doesn't give a specified time frame. I think it's because this kind of game can vary so much. In our gameplays, I would say most of the games we played were around 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes mark.
Yeah, I think we might even have one that was like even shorter. It's gonna, depending on the kind of cards you have and whatnot, like the game can vary a bit, but it's never going to be like a 3-hour game or something crazy. Like it's not going to be ridiculously long no matter what. So
I mean, maybe if you have like 6 players.
I don't know how that goes. We've only played one-on-one.
But...
right now, if you've been searching for this game, you know it's kind of hard to find stuff. So it's a little harder to get together a big multiplayer game right now. I'm sure that will change in the future, but yeah, we played one-on-one, and maybe in the future if we do play some of these bigger multiplayer games, we'll do a little follow-up to tell you how that goes. But right now, that's where we're at. So this game is different than a lot of other games because it is a collectible game, and we'll touch on that a little bit when I get into the art and components and what that means. But you know what? Actually, we can just go into that right now.
Mm-hmm. So for the artwork, it looks like it's pretty much all original art. Mm-hmm. There's a couple of them that looks like the artist did take a scene directly from the movie, but made their own version of it. But I really enjoy the artwork a lot, especially all the variants of the characters.
Yeah, I was debating whether or not I should talk about that here or in theme, but yeah, they have, without getting too much, the background lore is you can have different versions of these characters than you see in the movies. Like there's a tinkering Belle, which is really cool. I like it. So that's pretty nice. The art's really great throughout, I think. There's no cards that are stinkers. On BGG, at least on the homepage for it, only lists one artist. So I don't know if that's the case or if there are more, but it's very consistent throughout, I think. The iconography is pretty good. There's a couple icons on the cards that are very small, but I think they're also still distinct enough that it's okay. Like the one that tells you to they're not calling it tap. Turn your card sideways, exhaust. I can't remember now.
Exhaust,
yeah. That's a really small icon. It's kind of hard to see what's going on, but it also is the only thing that looks kind of like it does, so it's not too big a deal. So
I think if you're kind of new to cards and iconography, it might take you a little bit longer. But if you're used to playing card games, and especially card games that have iconography, you'll be able to pick up on it quickly.
Yeah. As you would imagine, the cards are really nice quality, I think. And I mentioned earlier that this is hard to get a hold of. That's very true. I got really lucky. I got into this when the prices hadn't inflated to an absurd degree yet. So I didn't have to spend too much. And then I got very lucky just with timing, being in certain stores when they were bringing out products. That's how I was able to get stuff. There's a lot of things that I have purchased that I would not purchase today online anyway, because listen, you don't need to spend $350 minimum on a booster box. Don't do that. They're planning to do more reprints. I think in October they said they were going to do some more restocks. And they said they'll keep printing this set as long as people keep wanting it. And there's also a new set, there's also a new set coming out in December, I believe, is the plan. I suppose that could change, but yeah, I wouldn't go crazy spending the exorbitant amounts online. If you can find it retail price, go for it. Totally good. But so there are a few ways that you can buy stuff for this game. They just sell it in different formats, I guess. There is a gift set that comes with 4 booster packs, and then it has a couple foil cards and super extra large versions of those same foil cards. Definitely don't pay exorbitant amounts for that. You just don't get that much to be making it worthwhile. I don't know, I think I saw it for $80. Don't do that. That's crazy. There is the Illumineer's Trove, which has a really nice box that you can put your cards in, because it's 8 booster packs. I believe it has some of the tokens for it as well. There's 3 different starter sets covering all 6 of the different ink types. That's basically each ink type is sort of like
their fashions.
Yeah, it's like their own set of cards that kind of are geared towards a certain thing. So those are really nice. That's a great way to start. And actually, just from being on online groups on like Facebook, it seems like those are the things that people tend to stumble across more out in the wilds. So, and that's fine. That's a great way to do it. And then, of course, you can buy booster packs or booster boxes. Those are hard to find right now. The cards, because they are collectible. Again, you're buying, these are kind of blind buys, at least when you're buying the booster packs. They come in all different rarities, going from, there's common, uncommon, rare, legendary, and enchanted. The enchanted cards I'll show on the screen because I actually lucked out. I super lucked out and got one. I mean, they're really pretty, but they only have one of those per case of booster boxes, so super hard to get. I imagine, like, if you wanted to go and buy one of those right now, I think the lowest I've seen one of those cards is like $250. I imagine when they start doing reprints, a lot of those costs for both those and any individual cards might go down because there's just going to be more of them out there, I would guess. Don't quote me on that. This is a little bit of a new world for me, but that's what I think. I talked about the tokens earlier. All right, look. The tokens that you get with the Illumineer's Trove, I think they might have been in the gift set too, I just don't recall, and in the starter decks. They do the trick, but they're basically like poster board, I would say.
Yeah.
They're not impressive. And maybe it's just because we're coming from board games where it's like, you can't get away with that in a modern board game. Like, you can't. Like, you'd have to have, like, an actual, like, real cardboard. I'm like, ooh, these are so chintzy. They're so chintzy. So, there's that. There are a lot of people on, like, Etsy and whatnot making, like, cool tokens that you can use.
Yeah.
So, you can do that. You may have noticed that we have some playmats that are not the official playmats. The playmats I have are cool, but there's no zones for, like, the different areas you put your cards. And I like these ones that we got actually better than what they have anyway, and it has the zones. So I may put a link to that person's Etsy store, just so if you like it. I don't know who this is, but
yeah,
it's good work. So, but yeah, my point is there's lots of ways you can spruce up your game if you want to have nicer stuff, but you can get by with the paper ones. Was there anything that you didn't like other than maybe the tokens? I'm
actually okay with the tokens. It's a card game. Like, if it was a board game, yeah, it would be a problem.
Yeah.
With it being the type of game it is, I'm okay with the cheap tokens. Like, we honestly, other than the lore counter, we don't really use the tokens that often.
Yeah.
You know, occasionally that use the damage tokens, but even that, it's pretty quick. They're not just being handled all the time, so. Yeah,
that's true. I do want to touch on a little bit, you know, as I mentioned, hard to get a hold of these things. And there are a lot of people online that are, like, customers that are really kind of ticked off. Like, why didn't they make more and all that stuff? And I understand it is frustrating that you cannot just go out and buy this game that is released right now very easily. But I also understand that this is technically a new product, and it's hard to gauge how much people are going to want it and how many people are going to want it and how much they're going to want to buy. So I would just say, like, I think it makes sense that they didn't put, like, a bajillion of all the products out there. There have been other trading card games that have taken a severe nosedive because they put too much stuff out. And I think they were afraid of that. And as long as they're willing to print more, you know, I know it sucks to have to wait, but I think it was a smart move for them.
Yeah.
It is a risky and crowded area of gaming to get into. Like, you're up against some big names that are very well established and have huge followings. Yeah. So,
and
you know,
just the IP cost on their end alone, like, I can see them being cautious in their
absolutely
printing. So
yeah, more is coming. So you know, just hold your horses, and you can see what's out there, and you can figure out how you want to build your decks and whatnot, if that's what you want to do. But you know, when the cards come, I think we'll get to a point where they're pretty easy to get. You know, you can go into Magic is very popular, but you can go into any game store and get Magic cards pretty easly, even for the brand new sets. I think we're gonna get to the point where it's the same with this once they've kind of gauged their customer base. Yeah,
I'm sure there'll be some, like in Magic and Pokemon and all the other card games that are similar to this. There's a rush when a new set comes out. I'm sure there'll be a rush when the new set comes out, especially if they do come out in December around Christmas time.
Yeah.
You know, but I think it will even out and it will get to a point where you can still get the stuff that you want to get.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, so for the theme, they actually have put quite a bit of lore into this thing, and I'm not going to go super deep here. You play as Illumineers, which means you're sort of like artists using this magical ink to create versions of Disney characters, both ones that we have seen before and all new ones that we've never seen before, and you're using those to gather lore on the Lorcana universe. So your main goal in this is to get as much lore as you can, but the first person to get to 20 lore wins. And there is fighting, like your characters can fight each other, but it's not like a lot of these other games where the whole point is beating each other up. It's really collecting the lore, and you're kind of fighting to slow your opponent down, I think, more than anything. Like, I don't think you can avoid fighting, really, but it's kind of nice that you don't. The point isn't that you're beating up on each other, especially because this is Disney. You know, they probably mean it to be able to be played with families, and maybe some families wouldn't like the idea that we're beating up on each other so much. Because these characters are, you know, in creations, it is not Captain Hook murdering Tinkerbell or whatever. That's not what's happening. You know, it's they banish them or whatever. It's not that not that graphic, not that gory a thing. So that's what's kind of cool about that.
Yeah.
The alternate versions are really fun. Some are kind of subtly different, and some are like quite different. Mm-hmm. Like, for instance, there is a Belle card where Belle from Beauty and the Beast is a tinkerer. I have to be careful because this is our second take of this, and I kept calling her Tinker Belle because she tinkers and she's Belle, but
I had to point out it wasn't actually Tinker Bell.
Yeah, she pointed out that's confusing because there is actually Tinker Bell. God dang it. Anyway, but I think she almost looks kind of steampunky.
Yeah. It is a very cool card.
It's a neat looking card. I dig it. So lots of little things like that that I think are super cool. And it also makes this game really infinitely expandable. As you know, they have so many characters anyway that they could go for a long time just on, you know, as they actually are. But when you get into it, we're like, well, here's, you know, the rock star Stitch or whatever. All right, now you can go infinite. I don't know what could stop them. I guess just their creativity is the only thing that would ever stop them, and, you know, I don't see that being very likely. So there is some kind of weird stuff, I guess, in a sense, because that might feel weird that you have like Aurora fighting alongside Maleficent, but again, these are not technically those actual characters from that. It's your recreation of those characters. This is getting deep in the weeds with the theme. Honestly, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
I guess it could, but it just doesn't. It's fun. I think it's kind of amusing to have these weird team-ups. I like that some of the cards are songs, and I think I said this in every Lorcana video I've done. I really like having a character sing one of the songs that's wholly inappropriate for, like, it doesn't, like Scar singing Be Our Guest. I love it. What is happening to Scar? I just dig that kind of thing.
It's also just fun. Even when they do match up, like if you have Mother Gothel singing Mother's Know Best, or, you know, like, I had Gaston and he didn't sing it, but I had the, you know, the Bring Your Swords song playing, like, as I put him out, and so, like, you know, it is fun when it's a very weird matchup, but then it's also fun when it is the perfect matchup, because it's like, oh, I remember this from the movie. And...
Yeah, for sure. And I think they did a really good job. I mean, it varies a bit from card to card of having what the card does make sense for that character or item or whatever it is. I mean, some more than others, but like the Tinkering Belle, for instance, because she is a tinkerer who makes things, like, she has a power that lets you put out an item at a lower cost because she's, you know, helped build it, technically, thematically. Yeah. So I really appreciate that. I think they did a great job in that area as well.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that's, like, kind of goes with the gameplay that also is kind of tied in with the theme is, like, the way that you purchase your cards. Like, all the cards will have a purchase cost up in the corner, and sometimes they'll just have, like, sometimes it'll just be a number up in the corner, and sometimes the number will have, like, a golden ring around it. If it has a golden ring around it. It means that instead of playing that card out, you can ink that card and put it into your inkwell. You know, I think thematically it's kind of like, oh, well, like, you have the drawing, like, on the paper, and instead of putting it out, you're taking the ink off of the paper to put it in so that you can draw something else.
You are not thematically taking Donald Duck and grinding him into ink. That is not what's happening. Just to clear that up. Man, this game would be dark. Holy cow, can you imagine? Don't do that.
Our daughter would be heartbroken.
Yeah. Yeah, our daughter loves Donald Duck. It's just, you know, the name I came up with out of the blue. Anyway, yeah, so it's all very not actually super violent. Definitely not that violent. So, yeah, it's nice.
Overall, for my final thoughts, I really enjoy this game. You know, I've mentioned before that, like, you know, in middle school I tried to learn how to play Magic, but the game store that was in my town was kind of a typical boys club game store, and so, you know, they didn't want to talk to me when I would go in there, and they lost a lot of money because of that, you know. And so I remember, like, there was, like, one time where me and my friend, we picked up, I think we probably just picked up 1 or 2 booster packs, thinking that we could, maybe it was a star pack, I don't even remember anymore. But, like, we tried to kind of teach each other, but we are so lost that it was just way over our heads, and we couldn't figure it out. And so I was very put off by Magic for a very long time. And by the time plus, I'm also not much of a collector item person. You know, if I think something looks really cool, I might get it, but, like, I don't want to try and collect a set of something. And I'm not a fan of the blind purchases. I don't like mystery packs or anything like that, typically. And then on top of that, with Magic, is that it's been around for so long, and there's so many different, different sets, different keywords. It's a very intimidating game to try and get into as a beginner now. So when this came out, or when we found out that this was coming out, and I found out what it was, I was kind of excited about it, because it is, you know, I like the idea of the gameplay of it. I love Disney, so I was excited about the theme. And since it's a brand new game, I feel like we're on kind of a more even playing field with everybody else, because it's not a game that's been around forever. And so even though there might be some players out there that pick up on this game a lot faster because they have been playing Magic or other trading card games, like, we're still kind of on an even playing field. Yeah,
I think that makes a lot of sense. I did play Magic a little bit back when it first came out, and then didn't touch it for decades, and so it's become intimidating for me again. I think the game has changed quite a lot since then anyway, but yeah, there's a lot of keywords and all kinds of stuff that just makes it tougher. And, you know, if you go into a place where they're playing it, a lot of those people have been playing it for so long that it's kind of hard to be the newbie in that space. So yeah, I agree. That's nice to kind of get in on this one on the ground floor. I think they did make this so that it would be welcoming to families and whatnot. I mean, the theme alone, I mean, you figure, you know, they want to get a broad spectrum of people. And I think that my only concern about it, and it is a slight concern because I don't think this will be a long-term issue, is I could see people feeling like it maybe isn't that deep, because, you know, at the moment, you're going to kind of figure out, like, what are, like, the people who, like, really look into this, I don't, but figure out, like, what the power combos are, or even if the people that don't, you may be like, okay, well, I kind of know what all these things do together, and maybe we'll start feeling tired. But, I mean, they're already planning a new set for December, which I've only seen a few of the cards, but it has, like, a new keyword and some, like, neat twists to what the cards can do. So I don't think that'll actually be a problem long term, and I doubt, at least for us, that we will play it so much that we're going to get to that point before December.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's going to happen. So as long as they keep it's a tough balance, because you want to keep innovating and bringing new things, but you don't want to necessarily have that Magic the Gathering problem where it's, like, so big that it's tough to bring someone new in on it.
Yeah, and I have almost the opposite concerns about the game. I don't necessarily think, like, on the production side that they're gonna make it so big and, like, move away from it being a good introductory game. My concern has more to do with the gaming community. I can see there being metagamers that come in and kind of ruin it for the casual person or the newer player that's trying to learn, just because I see that with so many games out there. And I think that this is a game that could really easily go into that, because I can see people, a lot, having your metagamers building like their perfect deck, and then you have a new person that's just like, oh, well, I like the princesses, so I made a princess deck, and
right.
Whatever Disney theme that they really like, and so they build a deck just off of characters that they like, that may or may not actually be good cards. And so, there are a lot of really good princess cards, but
There are.
most of the princess cards are actually really good.
Yeah.
But I can see there, especially with it being a Disney theme, there being a lot of new players out there that are building decks that are really just based off of characters that they like, and then getting really crushed by these metagamers, and then them not enjoying the game.
Yeah, I've heard just a few discussions online about people who've gone to events. I remember one saying that they played 3 games, and the first 2, the other person was like, the other people they played with were super nice, super chill, and then like the third person was like ultra competitive, like taking it extremely seriously. And I definitely prefer the earlier group. Like I'm not the type to really go out and do events for these kind of things in general, although I might be willing to try with this if one happens to pop up that I have the actual time to do. But I probably wouldn't personally get into a thing where there's like some massive prize at the end, because that's where you're going to get like the super hyper competitive people, and I don't really want to do that. Like, I'm never inclined to look up a deck or a net list, whatever, where this is like the most hardcore deck and everyone's going to use it. Like, I don't want to do that. I just want to like mess around and experiment with things. Like, that's way more fun to me than having the perfect deck that crushes everyone. Just not that interested in that. So I think I have a feeling, because of the theme of this game, that there's going to be like really like 2 very separate camps as far as that goes. There's going to be the hardcore players, just because it's a competitive game, so it's going to happen. But I have a feeling that there will always be the group of people who are just more chill and they want to just have fun playing the game. And the trick is, finding which group you want to be in. If you want to play the super hardcore competitive, that's great. Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't, but you got to find that group, and we'd have to find the other group. That's just how it is. So hopefully that'll all kind of work itself out.
So there's 6 different inks types in this game. Are there, and when you're building a deck, you can use 1 or 2 inks types. Yeah. Are there ink types that you're more drawn to?
Well, the one I played most recently, I played it, you played against it, you know what I mean, was the Sapphire and Emerald. I believe it's blue and green, whatever, I think that's Sapphire and Emerald. And I wasn't sure about that one, because I think both of them have descriptions where it's a little less clear when you just read like basic descriptions of how they're going to play out. But I really enjoyed that deck. It really had a lot of things that needed to play off each other, and you kind of had to set some stuff up. I didn't have any I shouldn't say any, but I wasn't like super attacky, but I had some attack. I had some good ways to get lore. And I thought it was a really interesting couple to play. I want to try other combinations still, and I kind of want to tweak that deck a little bit, just because we played 2 games, and the first one you beat me and it wasn't even like close. And the second one I won, but it was like I got to 20 when you were at 19. So I mean, it was a tight game. And so I just need to figure out how to like tweak things so that it's working more consistently. Because the first game I wasn't pulling off the things that I thought the deck could do. And the second game I had a lot better luck. But I mean, that's part of it. That's part of the fun of this is half of it is like messing with your decks, and the other half is like the gameplay. So, but I really like those 2. But I want to try more. I'm like unsure a little bit about how or if I'll enjoy the I think it's Amber, the yellow one,
Yeah.
whatever it is. Just because it's like healing and support, which could be great. Actually, I mean, actually probably could help other things quite a lot. But I need to figure out the right thing to pair that with. I think to like get the most out of it. Maybe I'll like pair that with something that's much more straightforward first to see how it goes, and then maybe I can figure out how it locks in with some of the others. But so far, I like the. I'm just gonna say green. Like stop talking about jobs. What about you?
I was really drawn to the Ruby and Steel, the red and gray deck. They're both fairly kind of straightforward hitters, but they also both have like cards that like really kind of make you kind of focus your deck a little bit more, because they have cards that like kind of really build off of each other, and so like like if you're taking like if you're taking I think of the Sharky or one of Captain Hook's goons, you got bonuses if you had a captain in your hand. So it kind of really, and then like if you had this card, then it made sense to have this card. And so it kind of, I think for practicing building decks, because I'm not really used to that, I really like both of those decks because they, at least from the couple little playthroughs that we did with the starter decks, it seemed like those two decks have that built in a little bit more, where it helps you kind of lean you towards what you should try and put in your deck.
Yeah, I think I think in time I'll settle on two that I especially love. Right now I'm still kind of in the experiment phase, but I'm having a blast with that, just trying to figure out the combos. And one thing I'm curious about is there's a lot of their different characters in this set. The next set is going to have some more, like I know it has like Great Mouse Detective and Raya, and more things that we've seen a little bit of here, like there's more Snow White stuff, etc. But is there a Disney property that you want to see cards of in this game?
They already kind of covered some of my favorites. They have Aladdin and they have some Rapunzel. It's like they've definitely, I think they've done a pretty good job of covering a lot of the princess ones. There's definitely some room for some more. There's definitely room for some more modern stuff, like in Kanto. I think the new Elements movie, I think, would actually be a really good fit here.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I think Wreck-It Ralph would be really fun.
That would be cool.
But I think a lot of some of the more classic ones, Jungle Book, the Robin Hood.
There is one Robin Hood card I think that we have. There might be more. I know there's one. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, more. Hopefully more.
So I mean, I think they did a pretty good job of spanning out different genres of Disney in this starting set. So I think they're on a really good track, and I think that if they just keep in each rendition that they do adding a little bit of classic and modern and stuff in between, I think they'll cover a really good range. I do too, but I'm gonna be a lot more specific. They already covered my favorites, so I want DuckTales. I want Uncle Scrooge and Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and what was that big pilot guy's name? I'm blanking on it. That guy. And Goldie, Scrooge's love interest. Why can't I remember that name? It started with a P. Is it Launchpad? Yes. Launchpad, okay. Launchpad. Yeah, him. That'd be cool. And then also, one thing that is not in this so far at all is Brave. I'd like to see Brave as well, because that'd be cool. Have her little bear brothers, the big bad bear, mama bear, the crazy various Viking people, or I don't know if they're Vikings, I guess not, but yeah, those guys. Yeah, I would like to see that too. Another thing that we've talked about separately is Disney owns Marvel and Star Wars. Are we in agreement that we don't want, listen, I've gone on record many times on this channel saying that bringing the X-Men to things is what is like, it's like bringing food to the starving. You know what I mean? That's a cute little Avengers game you have right there. Talk to me when you get the A-listers. The X-Men. I don't want them. Yeah,
in this.
I'd be okay if like they did like a separate game that was similar, but I don't want that in there. I would like to see Pixar stuff in here though.
Yeah. Now I just thought of this, I would be okay if they had Mickey with a lightsaber. I could do that.
Like Kingdom Hearts style? Or
sure.
just variations of...
No, like here's like Pete Darth Vader. But it's Pete.
Yeah.
Like it's very clearly Pete. It's not Darth Vader. I could deal with that.
Yeah.
I'm still not sure if I want it, but I don't want like the actual versions of them. If they want to make Elsa one of the X-Men, that's perfect. She's perfect for that. But I don't want to see actual Wolverine in this. Or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't want like tons of those either. Just like occasional one if they trickle it in. Okay. But I don't know why. Because I do like those things.
Yeah.
Something about it, I just don't feel like I don't think it's the right vibe. I think
too much of a crossover.
It's just jarring.
Well, and Star Wars doesn't make sense with the theme. Like, the X-Men, like, the Marvel universe at least somewhat kind of makes sense.
Because they're drawn
Because
originally.
it's comics.
Yeah.
It's the original. So, like, that at least kind of fits in with the theme. But, yeah, like, you know, Star Wars definitely doesn't fit in with the theme.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I'm not down with it. But, we'll see what happens. Anyway, I want to hear what you guys think, though, if you have opinions on this. Because I think some people really want that stuff. And I'm just not there. But, although I would, if they do, like, a Disney princess Leia somehow, Disney... Like Leia, but she's like very Disney princess. I might be able to accept that because that's hilarious to me. But that's it. Or Jabba the Hutt princess, even better. I will 100% buy that. I'm 100% on board. Put Jabba in a big old floofy dress. Hell yeah! I'll buy that card. I'll buy 100 of that card. Amazing. Anyway, should we go to our final scores?
Yeah. Alright, so for my final score, I'm going to give this game a 9. I really enjoy the game a lot. I love the theme. I really do love Disney a lot. And I really like that there's variations of the characters. I like that it's not just, Ariel's all with the sapphire or Aladdin's all with the rubies. Like, they have characters in different inks. So, if you really are really drawn to a certain character, you don't have to worry about trying to just play this fashion because you want to play with this character. Without I know a lot of the things I like about this game are going to be similar to other collectible or trading card games out there. But I do like that it's new. So, we're kind of learning along with everybody else. And really the only reason, my major drawback to it is also that it's a trading card game. So that means, blind draws, spending lots of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. There might be a card that you really, really want, and unless you're willing to pay a lot of money for it, the likelihood that you're going to get it is very slim. So.
Yeah. I mean, I think as far as that goes, like, early on in the game, getting all the boosters to try a bunch of stuff is probably the way to go. But as we get better at the game, it'll be easier to be like, okay, really, I just need, like, these few cards. Like, there's no reason to buy a booster box and hope for the best when I really just need these 3 dang cards, you know what I mean? Like, but we'll see. Time will tell how that all plays out. But, okay, so for me, I'm actually also going to give it a 9. I'm really, really, really liking this game a lot. I'm thinking about it a lot. I've never thought about Disney this much in my life. Even when we were at Disneyland, I don't think I thought about Disney as much as this. I was almost tempted to give it a 10, but I think I want to see, because these games are just ever evolving. I want to see how it kind of grows before I get to that point. It wouldn't shock me if it goes that way in the future, although I suppose they could do something to really jack it all up. I don't expect that'll happen. I really don't think so. But I really like it. I like the ease of play. Everyone knows the Disney characters, at least a good chunk of them. You may not know all of them, but there's a couple cards I'm like, where the heck is this from? And it might even be from something I've seen, but it's been a minute since I saw it, so, whatever. But, yeah, I really like it. I like these alternate versions of characters for sure. And I just, again, these things, for some, I don't know how, I think I just had a mental block about the blind, probably because of the blind purchasing, about like how much this kind of game really tailors to what I like in so many other games, like endless variety, really.
Mm-hmm.
You can do things so many different ways. I mean, there's luck, but you're mitigating your luck by what you're putting in your deck. You know, new cards, new sets, everything just, you know, adds kind of incrementally, but sometimes in kind of big ways to the game and how you'll play it, and it may completely change your mind about this one ink that you maybe didn't like before, but the new cards come out and you're, God dang it. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, I think more than other things that we played a few collectible things, but this one really is like, okay, I get this now. I get why this is such a thing, and this is it's a great use of these characters, and despite not being a Disney adult, despite, you know, theoretically maybe some themes would possibly appeal to me more in some ways, I love it. It's fantastic, and I cannot wait to see where this goes. I salivating every time I hear possible rumors of some new thing that's going to happen. There's some of these new teaser cards. I mean, look, if you already know this game and you haven't seen, look them up, because man, there's like this incredible bell. It's not a Tinker bell. It's more like, it looks like a Robin Hood bell practically. She's amazing. There's like this Knight Aurora that looks like a beast. I'm excited. Look at this. I'm already like, oh, put those in my deck. I can't put I'm excited about it. It's really a lot of fun, but be patient. More is coming. Don't spend hundreds of dollars for things that will be cheaper probably in like a month. Like, just hold your horses. It'll get there. You know, check the stores that'll carry them. Every now and again, maybe you'll get lucky, but you know, don't spend $350 or more on a booster box. Don't, unless you absolutely somehow psychically know that there's like an enchanted in there and you're gonna sell it, because then that probably brings it down to like a normal price of a booster box. Okay, but otherwise don't do that. But the game is fantastic. It's probably worth the money you're gonna put into it if you have any love for these characters and any love for this kind of game at all. Mm-hmm. It's worth it, I think. So, anyway, that's our thoughts. 2 9s. That's really good.
Mm-hmm. It's been a while since we've done that.
Yeah, I think it has been. So, just fantastic. I want to give an idea of some of the things that we have coming up here in the future. There will, of course, be more unboxing because I have hordes of them just on my computer that I just need to upload. Like, literally, I'll be watching a brand new one and I'll be like, so it's 4th of July? And you'll be like, what? It was when I recorded it. Anyway, it's just how it is. You know, sometimes I'm like, oh, I got to put this one out first, and anyway, we'll get through all that. We're also going to be doing reviews of both Everdell and my little Everdell. We were just going to do the kids one, but I kind of wanted to actually finally play the big one, and that way we can kind of talk more intelligently about the differences between them. So that'll be fun. And then, you know, cycling back to the trading card games, if my booster box ever gets out of customs, it's been there for 2 weeks, I will be doing an unboxing of that. Hopefully I'll get something cool, or it'll just be fun. I think it'll be fun regardless on it. Yeah. Just talk about these crazy Disney things. We're going to do a review once we've played it. We have not played it yet. Of another trading card game that is also pretty new on the scene called Grand Archive, which is like an anime themed one. It's much more indie company, but I think it really could be something special. It looks really cool. After that review, we're going to do kind of a versus video, which we haven't done. We've only done one of those. We did like Clank versus the Hunger. Mm-hmm. We're going to do a versus video of Lorcana versus Grand Archive. You know, talk about which one we like better, but also like why one might be better for this kind of group than another. You know, whatever. We'll just have a whole discussion about it. And then after that, whichever one comes out ahead in that discussion, we're eventually going to do another versus video of that versus Magic, coming in as noobs, super noobs. Don't be expecting super in-depth strategy about like these 18 different sets. It's not going to be there. But noobs to Magic. You know, talking about if you're trying to get into games right now, you know, what is the vibe? Like, which one do we like better? What's the viability of doing this? You know, etc. If you really like Lorcana more, and I really like Grand Archive more, then it's a triple threat match. We're going to do all three and talk about them, and we'll see which one comes out ahead. I mean, Magic is the big granddaddy. I feel like we cannot leave it out of this conversation. Yeah. So, and I'm excited
sure
to play
even
that.
if it is head-on-head, we're going to talk about the third one a little bit. Anyways.
I mean, I don't know how we could not, honestly. But, so that's all coming down the pipeline. There will be other things interspersed between here and there, because I don't want to just play trading card games for the next, 3 months or whatever. I mean, they're great. I mean, they're awesome. I suddenly realized,
I do, but
I also want to do other things. I have, speaking of unboxings, I'm about to get the, Sworn Into the Deep Void Kickstarter. That's arriving this weekend. So I'll need to set aside 18 hours to go through all that. Jesus Christ. It's a big one that I've heard is fantastic. So I'm going to at least do an unboxing of that with a review to follow once Sworn 3 is out, probably. I don't know. We'll get there eventually. But anyway, this is what's kind of in the pipeline, our current plans. Hopefully we'll stick to them. If not, I don't know. Don't get mad. Yeah, it probably is my fault, actually. So don't get mad at her. You can get mad at me. That's fine. Just email me at tomvassal@thedice. I'm just kidding. Don't harass Tom Vassal under my name, please. Okay. Because, I don't know, maybe, can they put out a hit? Is there a Dice Tower hit squad? I don't know. I'm not going to worry. I'm not going to mess with
it. Got to find you under a pile of games.
Yeah. They'll tie Gloomhaven to my feet and throw me in the river. Amazing. All right. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please hit like and subscribe and click the little bell icon so you can know about the next time we put out a video. Otherwise, look forward to see you all around the table again at All Games New and Old. Bye. It's like when your mom says we have tokens at home. These are the ones that, like that meme. These are the ones that we have at home. These are like the tokens you get from Wish. They're like, it's terrible.
In general, I'm not a fluff person. It doesn't, I could...
She sleeps with just a pillowcase. She doesn't even have the pillow, and that's how not fluff she is. Hey, you made it to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like it, share it, and click this button to subscribe. If you like that one, you might also like this one.
Or this one.
I cannot believe what I did in that one. Holy cow.
I can.
Of course you can. All right. Anyway, we'll see you around the table.
Bye.
Bye.